Hello, this is John Kovar. Today I'm going to do my personal experience speech. And I have my audience here, my father and mother and sister. Alright. And I have my outline here. Okay, so here we go. You can sit down. No, okay. Okay. I'm singing and dancing in the rain. Okay, for me, this phrase is evocative of one thing, and that's musical theater. So today, I'm going to tell you about my experience participating in musical theater. I'm going to talk about the experience that I had with auditioning and rehearsing and performing the show, and also some of my overall experiences with this art form. Okay, so the first thing you do is you go to the audition. And this is like a representation of your abilities. So if it's just a play, you act, or if it's a movie, you act, or you smoke cigarettes or something. But if it's a musical, then you gotta sing, and you gotta dance, and you gotta act. Usually, unless it depends on what you're doing. But that's kind of the idea with a musical. So this auditioning process I really don't remember very well. I think because I was really nervous. So obviously it worked out pretty good. So we had the rehearsal then, and the first thing we do is, you're still recording, is we have a read through the show. So that's where you just kind of go, and your only obligation is to just go there and participate and see exactly what you're going to be doing. So I was cast in a role, and I got to sing, and I got to be in scenes. It was great, but I'd never done a musical before, so that was interesting. So right, so the read through, and I remember just sitting in the audience, just trying to mind my own business while we listened to all the songs, and we listened to singers sing the songs. And they played the song, and it was my big scene, as it were, and I have to sing a love song to a person, and so I was just trying to mind my own business. But I remember the people there were turning around and looking at me, and they were laughing at me a little bit, and people would say, "That's you," as in this was going to be my song that I was going to be singing. So that was kind of embarrassing, and if I was embarrassed just to listen to all of it, I don't know how I was going to do the show. So that's how I felt there. But we started doing the rehearsals. We work on a different thing every night. We do go and work with a different dancing director or musical director singing, or the acting director who was over the whole show. But everybody did their own thing and worked in groups, and it was really pretty fun. It wasn't that bad. So there's the blocking. That's everywhere you're supposed to go and stand and do. And then there's obviously learning your lines and learning the different songs and all the parts to it, and learning the dances, practicing the dances. So after you have all that put together, there's a dress rehearsal, and that's where you're supposed to wear what you're supposed to wear and do everything that you're supposed to do in the play. And that wasn't that bad. It's just like doing the play, except it's much more relaxed. So, moving on to the performance aspect of the show. So, what I want to mention about the performance, there wasn't just one performance. It was do a show on the weekends and then take the week off, and then to come back and do it for a couple of weekends. So, but the thing is, it was the easiest part by far of the whole thing, because you'd already gotten through the audition and the rehearsal and everything weird and dancing and feeling weird. Most of the feeling weird was out of the way, really. You'd done so much of it by the time you get to the performance, if you're an awkward person, at least. So, yes, it was the easiest part, and it was also, what I want to mention is that it was the most fun part about it, was by far doing the performances, and you have some downtime, and it's kind of like being in church. No, it's You have to sit down quiet when you're not doing your scenes. I mean, it depends if you're in the dressing room being rowdy, but I would just kind of hang out in the lobby sometimes, and it's very quiet, and you can almost hear the sound of the audience listening. Still recording? Okay. You can almost hear them listening. It's so quiet, except for you can hear your friends on stage doing their scenes and going back and forth, and then you hear the bursts of laughter. It's a very, very interesting experience. Anyone who's ever been outside of a large audience knows. I didn't mean to say all that, but what I meant to say was, so this is the easiest part, the most fun part, and it's also the hardest part to let go of, because it's the part that you enjoy the whole experience, but really the performance is the best part, where you really get to see all of your work pay off, and your friends do well, and hopefully yourself do well. And I did. I really enjoyed the performances. So, now I'm going to tell you just a little bit about my overall experience of it. So, first thing I want to mention is about taking it seriously or not taking it seriously. So, maybe you think a musical is silly, and the nature of it is kind of silly, even compared to regular dramatic acting or film acting. I mean, a musical, whether it's a play or a movie, it's just got a lighthearted or comedic aspect. It can, certainly there can be more serious songs, and evokes a lot more, even more emotion through music, especially because people are very touched by music. So that's also cool. So even if you don't really take it seriously going into it, there's so many people there that do take it seriously, that you just are right there with them, and you end up kind of having the same feelings about it as they do. In a lot of cases, you end up taking it seriously. So because it's about creating something with others, creating something to be enjoyed. You've put all your work into this as a group, and you get to see that pay off. So, today I've told you about my experience participating in musical theater. I've done this by sharing my knowledge and about the experience of auditioning, rehearsing, and finally performing the show. And I've told you some of my overall experiences with this art form. So, this experience helps me remember how I was able to do something I felt so uncomfortable with and didn't think I would be good at, and I hope to apply this lesson in the future.